You're watching the 2025 SCAC Track and Field Media Days. Today, we're taking a look at the University of Ozarks men's and women's track and field programs. The Eagles once again be led as they head into the season under the guidance of head coach Tony Skiles, along with leadership from juniors Daniel Sanderson and Chloe Weathers. And Coach Daniel, Chloe, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Coach, we'll open up with you heading into this third season as the head coach of these two track and field programs. I'm just interested how your expectations have changed coming into year three over the comparative to these last couple of these first two seasons, and just how excited to be back with these groups and getting underway here in this spring semester.
So each year we're just trying to build chemistry. This year we're a young team, just like in the fall. So, we're just trying to build the foundation. And with these two as our leaders, it's, just a bright future ahead of us.
Daniel, I'm interested. What's the team energy like? As the season has started to unfold here, the group is starting to come together, starting to form, those relationships. The chemistry is developing. What is the energy of this group? What's been motivating this team? And just, from a team perspective, what are you most excited about coming
Yeah, I'd say the chemistry is great. I see them more as a teammate. I feel like we're more closer like a family. We all have our motivations, our personal goals and team goals and what we want to accomplish. And I think that keeping our heads up and being there for one of another is just like what we need, and that's what we're good at.
Chloe, I know we joked before coming on, and I said the original question I had written down was, "Are you tired?" Just being a standout athlete there at Ozarks, a three-sport athlete in cross country, swimming, and now transitioning into track and field. How do you handle the responsibilities required to be a standout in all three of those sports there at Ozarks? And where are ways in which you sort of able to find moments of rest, regroup, and reset going into these new?
I mean, sometimes it is really challenging doing multiple sports at once because, like, for swimming and cross country, those are kind of going on at the same time. And I kind of have to work with my coaches to find a good balance between both of those sports. Or I guess this semester is kind of like a little bit easier because swim and track are going on at different times. So, right as swim ends, track begins. So, it's a little bit easier this semester than last semester because I'm able to focus more on each of those sports during this time.
Coach, I think one of the cool things about track is it requires so many different talents and individual skill sets to kind of come together for this one team goal. So I'm interested, just what are the challenges as the head coach of kind of, figuring out all those different talents and having them all come together on race day, for the betterment of the group and the team, throughout the course of the year?
So it starts with practice. The way we do practice here is we break them up into different what they need to work on. So we have about 4 or 5 different groups depending on the day and everything. So what we do is we focus on that first, and then what I just preach is just, every time we go to a meet, when you're finished the race, just cheer for your teammates. Be there for your team. Anything they need to do, be there for them.
Daniel, you coming into this track season, obviously having a successful cross country season in the fall. Is there a transition, a shift in your mindset coming into the track and field season? Obviously, in cross country, to me, a lot of times it's kind of focused on plays. The time, while important, everything is different. Courses are different. The size of the race is different, and all those factors into varying times. Whereas track, your splits, time is so much more detailed. Is there a shift for you in terms of kind of a mindset coming to track, and how at all does your training shift at all as well coming into the track season?
I would say there is a big transition in coming into track from cross country. With the cross country, you're more focused on placement and not really on time because like you said, the courses are different. It depends on the weather and how big the meets are. And I think transitioning into track where you're more focused on speed and not only placement, but your own personal goals. I really think that plays a big effect. And so just transitioning from endurance to speed is really like one of the big things that I'm focused on.
Chloe, as one of the leaders within this team, I'm interested from your perspective, just how the group has started to come together at the start of this season. How is the chemistry looking with this team as it starts to grow? And how important is that chemistry just in terms of kind of the team's success moving forward into the rest of the year?
I feel like this year our team is a lot closer. We had a really good cross country season, and that kind of brought us all together because we were able to work together at meets to finish higher than we've ever placed before as a team. And I feel like that kind of built our confidence up. And we're just really excited for track. And now that I'm able to be more at practice with the team more full time, now that swim's over, we're able to be even closer and just be able to hang out more, I guess.
Coach, what do you want fans to know about these two programs? You obviously have an interesting perspective, a unique perspective, being with this group day in and day out at practices, being on those road trips on the way to meet day and race days. And so, what have you learned about this version of these 2025 teams? And what are some strengths? And just what do you want supporters of these two programs to know as the season is starting to open up?
I would say don't count us out. I mean, ultimately, this group each week, like these guys have been saying, they've grown. There's days that you just look at them and you can see them wanting it more and more. So, ultimately, what we do now is not the finished product. It's what we do at the end of the season. So, like I said, don't count us out on anything.
As we wrap up with our two student athletes, when you've had conversations as leaders on your team with some of your other teammates about some of the goals and expectations coming into this new year, this first year in the SCAC, what have those conversations looked like? And ultimately, what do you both see as being key for these groups to accomplish those things heading into the year?
I would say for the team, we all have our personal goals, like I've said before, but as team goals, I think we want to more focus on like growing together as what we have been doing, and I think we are accomplishing that. But I'd say more personal goals. We all have what we want to achieve, but I think it's really hard for us to do that solo. So like just being there for each other, cheering our teammates on, like Coach said that we do. I think that's what's really bringing us together and pushing us further on to that next mile.
For the girls, I know we're all really wanting to PR, go personal best, and then also just try to score as many points as possible at conference and try to finish as high as we can, just to try to be able to score points for our team and place higher than we've placed before in past years.
And finally, Coach, wrapping up with you, what's been, the message to these groups as you sort of laid the foundation and start to set up the season with respect to kind of the expectations? What are some things you've been trying to focus on with this group, like I said, to make sure they're as mentally and physically prepared as possible heading into the year?
Just be there for each other, be a family. I know there's going to be good days and bad days, but no matter what, be there for each other. Pick each other up, no matter if it's in the in the classroom or on the track. Just be there.
University of the Ozarks head men's and women's track and field coach Tony Skiles, along with leadership from juniors Daniel Sanderson and Chloe Weathers. Coach Skiles and the Eagles will return to action when they head to the Rhodes Invite on March 14th. Coach, Chloe, Daniel, thanks so much for your time today. Best of luck as you continue to move forward throughout the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.